Alright, so Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones narrows the gap with Rashida Tlaib in a new Michigan 13 district poll. Tlaib's lead shrunk by 28 percentage points, but still ahead of Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones. In Michigan 13, Brenda Jones was the former representative, and Rashida Tlaib barely beat her in the primary. And then when it came to the general election, they elected her in big margins. So Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones, who is challenging Rashida Tlaib in the Democratic primary, Michigan 13 congressional district, gained her opponent in a poll released Friday, just days after announcing her run last week, but trails Tlaib by significant margins. The result of the polls of 500 registered voters from Michigan pollsters, consultant of the target, I don't know how to pronounce that word, found Tlaib leading Jones by 43% to 34% in a head-to-head matchup. This represents a massive gain for Jones. In the last poll taken in June 2019, which found Tlaib ahead by 56% to Jones's 19%, details saw bigger losses in Detroit, where Jones has more name recognition than other areas of the district. She does not fare well among male voters, losing 25 percentage points since June among male voters compared just 6 percentage points with female voters. Tlaib is also remained ahead of older voters, a critical demographic, generally higher turnout. Tlaib's favorability ratings remain 10 points higher than Jones. Alright, let's try to get this video up to, let's try to help her keep her seat. According to the poll, shows the candidate with the more popularity, name recognition, support outside of Detroit, and built-in fundraising machine could be Tlaib. If a stronger candidate entered the race, he suggests that would be likely to pick many of Jones's current supporters. Most of them potential candidates comes with the resources and support necessary to beat Tlaib, like Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon have already said they're not running. Joan enters the race with little money in her coffers compared to Tlaib's 1.6 million war chest and lower name recognition across the district than her opponent. Jones would need to launch an aggressive fundraising campaign and outreach campaign, which would be very difficult amid social distancing guidelines. Attention from major Democratic organizers is directed elsewhere amid the pandemic. Jones has previously expressed praise for the Nation of Islam leader Louis, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, who has frequently criticized as an anti-Semite when, I don't know, the person's last addressed Detroit City Council. Jones said at the time that he offered awesome work with Frank Hum, I don't know how to pronounce the name, spoke in Detroit earlier this year. Jones issued a statement that she was so excited to welcome Frank Hum, Nation of Islam, to the city in a speech in October 20th, 2018, which Jones attended. Frankham singled her out for praise and applause from the audience. Wait, it's blurry. Stephanie Bradley Jones, Chief of Staff in the City Council office, spoke at an event featuring Frank Lim in Detroit in March, telling the crowd Jones supports the Nation of Islam. He also said in separate remarks at the same event that Jones sponsored a resolution praising the final call to the Nation of Islam newspaper for the truthful reporting, courageous journalism, according to the ADL. The newspaper also published anti-racist content. Jones did not respond to request to comment. So, basically how Joe Biden might get more votes from Bernie Sanders supporters if he endorses her in a primary. And we need to make sure to keep our seats. That's what we need to do. We need to keep this seat. And we need to get more seats as well. Let's help out Adrian Bell, Morgan Harper, and Cara Eastman. And let's get Paula Jean into the Senate. And let's get Maxwell Bureau into Congress. And Kathy into Congress. Let's basically turn that district in Nebraska blue. Let's also get more seats in Congress and get another seat in the Senate. Oh wait, 2 seats. Because there's a Georgia Senate candidate named Ted Terry, who was a former mayor. We need to get him to the Senate, as well as we need to get Nabi Islam into Congress, as well as a bunch of other progressives. So if you get him and Paula Jean into the Senate, then we might get 2 more seats in the Senate, and a couple more congressional seats as it is. And also, if we take Joe Kennedy's district, good. But also, let's keep that seat in Massachusetts with Ed Markey. Make sure Joe Kennedy doesn't win, because literally Joe Kennedy is really a centrist. He's not a progressive. He's been backed by centrists. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Let's help Rashida tlaib. She's still ahead, but by a 9-point margin. Thank you guys for watching.